That sounds awful.
See, you think it sounds nice, but it's not just like cheeseburgers. I mean, you have to eat like these just bland, naked pieces of chicken and rice, and it's not that appetizing.
Right.
And you're just so full. It's a pretty uncomfortable feeling.
The Wolverine diet is strict. It's about 4,000 calories a day. Maybe 4.5 as I'm bulking up, and then it drops down as I'm leaning up, drops down to about 3,500 calories. Not the fun calories. This is the chicken, fish, maybe steak, always protein 6 times a day. Protein, steamed vegetables, and occasionally some brown rice or something like that. Protein shakes, and just like that. No alcohol, no sugar, pretty much nothing that's fun.
Believe it or not, the hardest part was physically eating that amount of food. I had to put on about 17 pounds. It was crazy. I mean, aside from the training, which was literally, it consumed my life for a while. Very intense, a lot of heavy lifting. I won't get into that, it's boring. The hardest part was eating, you know? You just have to eat a ton of calories. And it was all hard calories. It was a lot of chicken breast. I was eating so much chicken breast that the hardest part about it was actually chewing it all. So I would just put it into a blender, blend it all up, and just drink chicken. Isn't that gross?
What's your diet like? You said you're eating chicken, but what specifically, like if you get up at 3 in the morning, what are you eating?
Egg whites, Ezekiel bread, almond butter, and then I'll work out. Then I'll have yogurt and a Greek yogurt and a shake, and then I'll have a chicken cooking. Then I'll eat a rotisserie chicken. Then I'll eat turkey burgers. Then I'll eat a fish. I eat probably 7 or 8 meals a day, every 2.5 hours.
Transforming yourself is really not hard. It requires consistency and dedication, and you have to be willing to sacrifice the things that you want. You have to trade things that are fun, like alcohol consumption, meals at restaurants, things like that, for, long, arduous periods of time, exercising and physically exhausting and grueling work. It's, I was capable of doing it. I think anybody could do it if they wanted to. But unless you had to, I don't see why you would want to.
Your fans are saying Chris Pratt eats no fat. Is that true?
No, I eat plenty of fat.
Yes.
Chris Pratt eats no sugar. That is more true.
Did you ever have a cheat day?
Yes. I was terrified, so it took about 5 months till I allowed myself, or till Magnus gave me a cheat day. But it was on a Sunday, and we shot the movie in London, and we were at the gym and lifting weights, and I guess he just saw that my will to live was fading. And it's been 5 months of broccoli, chicken breast, and that kind of stuff. And he was like, Alex, let me take you to lunch. Put down the weights. Let's go. And he took me to this Italian restaurant and sat me down and said, what do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? What, like chicken breast or salmon? He's like, no, whatever you want on the menu, order. So I got to eat pizza, pasta, tiramisu.
Wow.
I get emotional just talking about it.
The workout was probably more difficult than the actual filming. It was my body doesn't sit naturally at that weight, so it was consuming many calories and protein, being the main one, and working out 6-7 days a week.
And for Batman,
it was a lot of protein and not a lot of carbs, but just eating like 4 or 5 times a day, and you have to keep your calories up to build muscle. That was the hardest part. You just get sick of food and you don't want to eat any more like orange roughy, or white fish or chicken, and but you have to sort of keep a steady diet of that, and then just lifting weights, for a couple hours a day, and gets old. It gets old.
What do you do for cardio? No cardio.
No, I run. That's the savory answer.
Yeah. So what is the real answer?
I think they get it.
It's a very long and complicated process with a lot of knowledge required to achieve the thing. That's why we have our trainers who do all that and just tell us what to do and tell us what to eat. I would say, as far as a tip of the person who's being trained, is when it starts to hurt badly and you want to quit, that's really when you shouldn't quit.
Yeah, I think it's just about, the discipline of continuing to do something that you don't want to do and forcing yourself to show up and keep exercising. It's kind of that simple, it's not pleasant. It's, you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, and that's when you have to keep going.
Now, how long, again, I don't know what you looked like beforehand, but like how long did it take to be that?
To get to that stage,
Yeah.
it took 5 months of pre-production training, and that was about 4 months into shooting. Yeah, so 9 months.
The very first movie, I had no idea. I was basically a skinny guy. I was doing Oklahoma here in London. I got the part. I went. And I had 3 weeks, and I was like, oh, cool, 3 weeks, I'll be able to turn into Wolverine. Literally, they had to shoot. If you watch X-Men 1, the very first scene I shot is me coming down in the mansion downstairs, down that blue hallway, running down with my shirt off, and they had to shoot around me because it's just really not good. And so they shot the very first scene at the very end 4 months later because it took me that long. Yeah. So for this one, I rang Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and I had to do Les Mis, and I lost some weight for that, and I said, what do I have to do? And he said, you got to have minimum 6 months. So I eat 6,000 calories a day. I train for about 3 hours a day in the gym.
Every day. Do you have
I
a day
train
off?
every day, but I don't do weights every day. I do weights like 5 days a week.
So it's not just. I've put a lot of hours in the gym training and eating a particular sort of diet and healthy sort of lifestyle, I think, which is it. But yeah, I think it's just there's no short secret recipe for it. You know, you just have to put in the hours, put in the work. 5 days a week, you know, it's important to also have the rest, the right amount of rest. And I have kids now, so that becomes a little more tricky to navigate. But yeah, it's about an hour to 2 hours sometimes a day.
What's more important, the diet or training?
I'd probably almost say diet, to be honest. If you're talking about just general health and weight loss and staying lean, if I'm not training that much but my diet's spot on, I'll stay in a good zone. You know, I find if you want to put on the muscle, more muscle mass, you definitely have to eat a higher having a higher calorie into that intake and more protein.
Is there a lot of pressure to keep up?
Yeah. The answer is yes. Yes. Yeah, you want to make sure you look the role, and you want to make sure that, you know, it's tough reading those comic books because in the comic books he's like 6'4", 240 or something. He's a huge animal. I'm nowhere near that, so, you know, you want to make sure that you do your best to at least get close to the idea that some of these comic book fans have in their head.
The workout was a lot of work. I had a great trainer, a guy named Walter Norton, and he, you know, it was about showing up every day. Really, that's the thing. And sometimes I had to do it like, you know, early in the mornings or whatever, you know, before, because I was working on another movie. I was doing Gone Girl before I did this, and so I'd be shooting that movie and then have to work out and, you know, get ready in the mornings before Gone Girl. So it's just about like getting out of bed in the morning, being willing to do it even when you hate it, you know. And I would have totally given up if I didn't know that, you know, I had to be on camera, so I couldn't cheat. I had to like get up there and do it. Otherwise, you know, it would be, you know, you got to be. Audiences expect you to look like a superhero.
Daily, you know, I end up training twice a day because I had 5 months, and I thought, how do I expand 5 months into longer? You train twice a day, then it's 10 months, you know, and then that's 10 months of learning in 5 months. And so I just trained and trained and trained. And obviously, in order to learn more, once you start to learn more, you need your body to be in a place where you can continue to do it. There's no sport in the world where, you know, as you're learning more, your body needs to be in more and more sort of physical shape, like better physical or top shape.
4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, have my caffeine.
4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning. But by the way, that's the magic hour. That 4 o'clock in the morning is when no one else is up, so no one else is bothering you, and you can focus on whatever work you have to get done. And by 4:30, 4:45, I'm doing some sort of cardio. I do this, and then I'll have breakfast, and then I will go do all my strength and conditioning training at a gym for about an hour, and then I'll go to set. Between cardio, strength, and resistance training, stretching, maybe about an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad, but it's not all at one shot. The diet is structured, and it's probably somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 calories a day. That's very balanced of carbohydrates and fats and proteins and greens and things like that.
The nice thing to say is that I've never had a single director actually ask me to do any of this stuff. Everyone's kind of gone, well, we can probably do it with a bit of makeup, with a bit of prosthetics, we can do it. And then they discover I'm really doing it myself. And they've always gone, are you okay doing that? You know, So I've never actually had anybody say, you have to get to this place. It's always been me who said, I have to get to that place.
I started 3 months before we even came to Montreal, and then trained for another 4 or 5 weeks here before the film even started. And at some points, I was training 4 hours a day in the gym. I had 2 trainers, 2 separate trainers. I don't know what I was thinking.
It was 8 weeks of training. How'd that go about?
I'm sorry, not 8 weeks for
No.
me. It was 7 months for me. Because
That shows.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think after 8 weeks, and I could have got in pretty good shape, but after 7 months, that's how you get like I did eventually, because you just keep stepping over little barriers where you think, okay, I would honestly think, right, I can't get this. This is great, and then the next minute you'd be like, oh wow, I've surpassed that, and then you're enjoying it because you know I'll never be like this again. So you think, well, how much more can I push it? And that was the Spartan element. It was the mind conditioning as well.
He did call me and say, well, you know, how do you look right now? You know, like how am I gonna seriously be able to suggest to Warner Brothers that you could play Batman ever if you know, you're that skinny?
Hey, perfect fit.
He then proceeded to put on a lot of weight in muscle terms and really try and bulk up, because I had impressed upon him the idea that for Bruce Wayne to really fill that suit, he was going to have to be very, very large.
I was just stuffing my face all day long and lifting heavy weights and eating more, and eventually went up to like 220 pounds. I just listened to what he said about get as big as you possibly can, so that's what I did.
People want to know what the secret is. The secret is you can't do it in a month.
Thank you. I like that.
It takes 8 months, or a year, or a lifetime of consistency, working out every single day, and eating properly, and truly feeding yourself, not starving yourself, but giving yourself proper nutrition to heal. You have to burn off all the crap you've put in your body, and then you have to replace it with really good food and fuel. And it takes a long time, but really 8 months is not that long. I mean, what were you doing in May, right?
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
8
That
months
was
ago.
yesterday, right?
And when you're looking back, 8 months goes by really quickly. When you're looking forward, it seems like it's crazy. It's a long prospect. Even 8 hours can be a long
Right.
time. But it just takes a little bit of consistency, and time is going to go by just as fast whether you're doing it or not. So who do you want to be 8 months from now? You want
Word
to be
to that.
you want to be in good shape? Then get on it today.